So welcome to the Getting Started Right call. Thank you so much for coming on, guys. And I'm just going to share a presentation with you today. Literally, that should explain exactly how to execute your business on a day-to-day basis. And it's something that you can absolutely revisit. And if you kind of are doing your training and then you're trying to get into a routine, that can take some time, and sometimes it is just good to revisit. So if you've got any questions, just ask them at the end, as I said. And I'm just going to share my screen now. So let me find the right one. I think it's actually this one. Okay, just bear with me because I've opened. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm just going to click present here. There we go. Okay, hold on. Can you all see that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. So the Getting Started Right call. I'm just going to share the vital behaviors firstly. And if you guys are on my immediate team, you will probably have a sense and idea of what these are already. But I know when I was a new coach, it wasn't something that people would always talk about the vital behaviors. Like Beachbody coaches will talk about that, and you'll hear about it in national wake up calls when coaches are talking about their success. They say, it's all about the vital behaviors, and really, really, it truly is. If you look at anybody in Beachbody who is doing well as a coach, they are absolutely demonstrating these things every single day without question. And this business is built with consistency over time. So I think it's really important to know that it's not going to happen tomorrow, and it's about consistently doing these things. So being proof the product works. And of course, for us, the product is doing the fitness programs, following a program from start to finish, and really being dedicated and being that person for other people, and showing that they work. Okay. And in so doing that, the workout programs are obviously really important. I would also say, if you start a program and it doesn't click with you and you don't connect with it and you've given it a bit of a go, don't be afraid to share that with your following and say, do you know what, this hasn't really been my thing and I'm going to switch over. That hasn't happened to me that many times, but I can promise you that you are going to be proof the product works when you love the product. So if you love the program, the physical fitness program you're doing, and you are loving the Shakeology or the Energize and Recover, and you're getting really good results, the rest of your business will just flow completely naturally and very, very easily. And I'll be honest, there are times in my business where I'm being more proof the product works than others. And that's very natural. We're human. We are going to go through, periods of this. That's just what we do as coaches, is us sharing our lives. And of course, there are going to be ups and downs, but I can tell you my business completely makes sense and it clicks really, really well. And people are just wanting to enroll with me when I'm doing this. Number one, they can see it works. Okay. So that, the kind of best way that you can do that as a new coach to build trust is to share a transformation. And I know as a new coach, that was for me, absolutely terrifying. I was so worried about what people would think of me. I thought people would think I was vain, and this is why, I'll come to personal development soon, but personal development is so important because you realize that actually, if those people are going to make those judgments, they're not they're not interested in this. It doesn't mean they can't be your friends, but this isn't for them. But actually the people who are kind of your people, they need to see that. They need to see that it works. Okay. The transformation, for the most part, a physical transformation, no one can argue with, right? So they're going to trust that. And I would also say psychological transformation is huge. You'll see me talking about that in my posts a lot, because for me, this has been enormously, I always say it's more a mindset journey than it is body. But the thing that's going to attract people in initially, if they're going to join your challenge, is a physical transformation. So I just think it's so important for your own belief in what we do to really pour into your own cup first. And that comes with this, number one. And that means that as a new coach, or even if you've been a coach for a longer time, being proof of the product, loving it, like having the Shakeology every single day, giving it a chance, and not being that person that says, hey, do you know what, I don't do shakes, I've never liked them, but not giving it a chance. Because I was that person. Like I would never, like, I'm a PT and believe in like meal substitutes, but this isn't a meal substitute anyway. So it's additional to whatever else you have, and that's why it's so phenomenal. But I gave it a shot and I tried it for 2 weeks solid, and I did the program for 2 weeks solid, and I just felt absolutely incredible. And I just shared it quite naturally. I wasn't being salesy, and I enrolled 3 people towards the end of my first month. And that was absolutely because I said to myself, right, when I start doing this, I need to know what works for me if I'm going to want to try and help other people. So I need to do this for me and stick to it to a T, to know that it works. And that's where your belief is going to come from, and that's where your passion is going to come from. Because of course, if you feel the benefit and you love it, you are just, you're it's almost going to be like, I have to share this with people. That's what happens. And so inviting, that just becomes a very natural process. I think particularly if you've done this, then doing this is not so scary. If you've done this and you've not got the results, and then you try and do this can feel really difficult. So I want to be quite honest about that. So inviting is either inviting into a challenge group. And as a new coach, I would absolutely say you want to be inviting them to get fit with you. As you build and you change and you grow, you may well want to invite people to coach with you, to be on your team. But certainly for me as a new coach, and for you guys, I think it's really important just to invite them into a challenge group. Okay. There are some invite scripts in the file section of the Team Hustle and Heart page. I would absolutely say it's really important to look at those and make them your own. And this is something I heard a top coach say on a national wake up call not that long ago. And she said, I don't really even give my coaches scripts, because I want them to figure out their way of inviting people, because the way I invite is not going to be the way that they invite. And I think that's absolutely true. And I'll be honest, like this part as a new coach is kind of the most ugly process, right? You're kind of working out what works. It's a bit uncomfortable. It's a bit disjointed. You're kind of trying to find your feet, and it's a bit like, you know, watching a foal trying to walk. But it's, unfortunately, it's something that we all have to go through, and we've all been through it. So use those scripts by all means, but definitely make them your own. If something feels right to you in terms of tweaking or changing an invite, go for it. And personal development, this is like, I said this on the team call on Sunday, this to me is more important than that. And the reason why this is more important is that this will follow if you do this. So if your mind is in the right place, the body will follow. Okay. So 90% of your success as a coach will be based on your personal development, your mindset. And because we all have like limiting self-beliefs, we all have different ones that have been instilled in us from childhood. Every single person on the planet does. And those are going to be the things that stop you. And unless you are doing this personal development for at least 15 minutes every single day, I can promise you that those self-limiting subconscious beliefs are going to creep back in, and they're going to stop you doing this, and they're going to stop you doing that. Okay. Believing that you can do it is absolutely where you will see the success. And that comes from personal development. So some books that I recommend my coaches to listen to as new coaches is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. That's my all-time favorite. I still listen to that sometimes when I need like a kickstart. When you find a book that you connect with, listen to it over and over. I say listen because you, for the most part, the majority of the population will learn more readily through listening as opposed to reading, unless you have a photographic memory, which is obviously different. So the Audible app is fantastic. So that connects to Amazon. It's a free app to download, and then you just purchase the books through Amazon and you can listen. So you can just listen on the go, which is really the best thing, because if you are working a full-time job, which again, for the most part as a new coach, we would expect you to be working full-time. This is something that is built over time. Doing personal development that you can listen to in the car or as you're getting ready is much more conducive to being able to fit it into your day. And recognition, or I like to call this one getting people results. And you're probably thinking, well, as a new coach, I don't have any results for anybody yet, but it doesn't mean that you can't share other people's results from within the team. I know there were some shared within the team today. So if you want to, share like transformation pictures, for example, always feel free to just go into team page. Hey, like guys, I just need some transformations so that I can just share them in my stories, because that builds social proof, right? Then do that. Or maybe there's new coaches coming into the team and they're not your coaches yet. That's okay. Just anything that's in the team page, certainly of mine, just take it. Any new coach, you can save the image and just say, I'm so excited to be like in a team that's growing so much. Things like that build FOMO. Like seeing all those results photos for people who are thinking about getting fit with you might just be the reason why they enroll. And if they don't relate to your transformation, they may well relate to somebody else's. And that's something that I learned when I think it was when Morning Meltdown came out in the summer, and I shared my results, but I shared other people's results. And I had a girl saying, enroll me, like that girl looks like me and I want to look like that. And that girl wasn't me, but she'd connected with that girl who was one of my challenges. So just bear that in mind. And obviously if we can show the proof that it's not only just working for us, it's working for other people, that's what we're here to do. So trying to share certainly these 3, you should do every single day. As a new coach, the inviting can be something that we procrastinate over, that we're unsure about. Do just message your coach if you want to like run a draft by them. You can certainly do that with me. But I will say, like, the quicker you do these 3 things, that the so much easier it will be. Initially it's going to be terrifying, but it will be so much easier in the long run, because the longer you hold this off, the longer you are likely to just not do it at all. And we don't have a business unless we're inviting people or speaking to them about what we're doing. Okay, so those are the vital behaviors. Your vision. And this was something that I didn't really get to grips with at all, probably for the first 6 months as a coach. I came into this business just wanting to get fit, really for myself. I didn't really ever think this would be anything over and above me just paying for my shake each month. I was like, if I help 3 people, then I'll just cover my shake, and I love my shake. So I was like, I don't want to have to pay for it. So that was my vision at that point, right? And I just want to be totally honest about that, because this is, again, something that is so important to understand. You'll see someone might, like me, you might look at me and think, wow, well, she's got a huge vision, but I can't relate to that yet. And I get that, because I've been that girl, of course, that started where you were, whose vision wasn't really that big with this business. And I just think it's really important to let the lid off, right? And just say, in an ideal world, if coaching, from what you've seen so far for where you are right now, could be anything to you and could do anything for your life, how does that look for you right now? And really, like, write that down on a sheet of paper. Maybe even if you're really excited about it, and this is something you might want to do further down the track, get a vision board. All of your personal development, we'll talk about doing a vision board. And the reason for that is there's lots of like scientifically proven like experiments that show that people are far more readily able to achieve their vision if they've actually got a physical visual. They can kind of put themselves in that place. So think about it. For me, I'll just share mine just so that you can know that this is like the power of this opportunity. Like, I've bought us a Maryland holiday home on the lake. We have a Range Rover Sport. I've sent my son to a private school that I pay for. We fly first class. We travel very often. And that absolutely is realistic, aligned with my vision, where my business is now. But when I started, I didn't even know that was a possibility. Like, I had no idea that, I went on a leadership retreat in October. I was invited as a guest, and all of the people in that room were earning 6 and 7 figures with Beachbody a year. So I just want to be honest about that. And I'm not saying that's where your vision is now, but I just want you guys to know that this opportunity is a real opportunity if you take it seriously and you really want something, anything. It gives you freedom, right? But there's no freedom without discipline. And I think that's something that I wanted to share. It's actually something I shared in my post yesterday, but I think it's one of my favorite phrases of all time, because I think sometimes in the modern world, we think freedom is this like amazing thing. People don't get that unless they've been disciplined to get there. So get clear on your vision. Like, just even if it's just a 10-minute task you do in amongst your training, what's my vision? Like, have you even ever thought about it? I know when I started as a coach, I hadn't ever even thought about it. I didn't even know what one was. I was like, okay, cool. Well, you know, I want to live in a nice house and have a nice family. And, you know, I'd never even allowed myself to sit down and think about, in an ideal world, how would it look? Where would I live? You know, what would we do? Like, just let your mind wander a little bit. And revisit them every day. So if you watch my stories, guys, you'll see me every morning, and I do it on purpose because I want people who aren't yet with me to see that this is part and parcel of why I'm so happy, why I'm so enthusiastic. I write out my vision every morning, like where we're going to live, what school my son's going to go to, you know, what it allows us to do. It allows us to travel first class whenever we travel. You know, that for me might not be for everyone. It really might not. But for me, that's my vision. So get clear on yours, because that, I'm always motivated, and I wasn't always motivated, but I'll tell you, that piece motivates me every day. I'm like, maybe I don't feel like it today. Maybe I'm in a bad mood. And I start my morning with that stuff, and it just gives me fire. It really gives me fire because I'm connected emotionally. You need to connect emotionally with the vision and the why. And be consistent and patient. So yes, you're going to have better days than others, certainly in the beginning. Creating these new habits that we're talking about, essentially this call is about creating habits within your day. Creating habits is not easy, guys, and I want to be honest. Like, I wasn't that girl initially when I was a new coach that did everything. I wasn't. I just stayed consistent in some capacity every day, and for the most part that meant I damn well did my workout, I damn well did my personal development, and I invited a few people. Okay, it didn't mean I finished the business activity tracker top to bottom, but I was pedantic about making sure I did those things, because that's the foundation, right? And incredible things don't happen overnight. This is so important. So time management, I did a whole call on this on Sunday. The recording is in the team page if you want to watch it. And I spoke about, I did speak about the business activity tracker a little bit, but I think most of you, I know Emma's been talking about the business activity tracker. I know Amy knows what that is. I'm not sure what that Ellen does, but the business activity tracker is actually in the training and the champions page. It is a Beachbody devised tracker to do daily. It's been devised by the top coaches in the network. So they sat down and they said, okay, what is it that a coach should do every day that will help them see success? And they came up with this. And honestly, there are times where I've used this and there are times where I haven't. And I can tell you, the times where I'm using this sheet, I am generally flying, because it's surprising when you don't have this printed off in front of you. In my opinion, it should be printed, not on your screen. How much you miss, like inadvertently you miss, like even I miss, right? I'm no like perfect person. So the business activity tracker is really important. And the reason why it's so amazing is that in the beginning, you might have an hour a day to execute that stuff, or maybe you've got two. If you've got two, that's great. Two's probably the ideal. You can allocate time on timers, which is what I covered over the weekend actually on the team call. If you do timed bits for each one of these things, I can promise you, the fact you know you're on a timer, you'll get that stuff done, and you just do those tasks within the time you've allocated. And then yeah, you could do more. You can always do more, guys. But remember, it needs to be in balance with your life, or not balance. There is no balance, but where you can allow without burning yourself out, okay? Because this is what's going to build your business. So work out what time you do have, and blimmin' well, be disciplined with it. Like, just set timers. I can promise you, if you don't set timers for those tasks, you will drift. You'll end up in Instagram drifting. It's what happens. And morning routines, that was something that I just covered. I get up, and this was something that took me a long time to work out, and I love to share it because it made such a huge difference to how I felt about my business. When your business is on social media, you better bet it's really easy to get up out of bed and immediately pick up your phone and look at your messages. Do you think that is a good way to execute your business long term? No, because what you're doing is you're waking up and you're putting other people first, and you're immediately switching your business on. Don't do it. I wake up, I leave my phone on the side of my desk, I go downstairs, I get a coffee, I come back upstairs, I light my candle, I write down what I'm grateful for. I find this is what I personally do, and I'm not saying you have to do it, but I know the girls in the virtual gym who are doing it actually really seeing the benefits. I find a guided meditation for about max 10 minutes, usually 5-10 minutes, like manifestation or abundance, or even if you're having anxiety in your life, find one for anxiety. Like, there's loads of morning meditations, they're amazing. And then I listen to personal development for 15 minutes. Okay. And after that, personally, I go in and I check my coach office. That's because of where my business is right now. I like to know where my coach office is in the morning. I check my bank balances. That's just something I do. It's not something you guys have to do, but that's the way I do it. And then I go and do my workout. And after that, after I've showered, after I've had my breakfast, that's when I'm going back and I'm setting my business hours. Okay. I do not pick up my phone in the morning and immediately look at, unless it's like maybe I'm doing a morning workout with the girls, then I'll look at the message from the girls. But I'm very selective about when I'm messaging people, because there are business hours and there are non-business hours. And again, like, if you're working a full-time job, you want to do the same, because you are going to burn yourself out. If you're trying to flip and change all the time, you will burn yourself out and you won't enjoy it. So be intentional. As I said, like, set timers, work out where in your day works for you. I shared on the team call on Sunday a book which I very recently got, and honestly, I wish I'd had it years ago. It is not a cheap planner. You can see how thick it is here, guys. It's like a dictionary. It's called Rise Up. It was developed by a Beachbody coach. She's one of the top 10. She's called Moira Kasaba. And you'll see here, this will probably freak you out, but these are my time blocks, okay? And at the moment, my son is at home all the time. So I've got in there, like, when I'm going to have a walk, when I'm doing lunch, when I'm doing bath, and then I'm fitting in, right, where on my day am I going to do this? And then where's my downtime? So, like, I'm watching Sons of Anarchy at the moment, believe it or not, that goes in my planner. That's protected time. That's, I'm going to find balance within my business, because that's going to be really important. So I would strongly advise you to get this planner. It's not cheap. It's 30 quid in the UK. I think it's probably like 40 Canadian, probably, on Amazon. But it is worth its weight in gold. It's even got, I think Emma would love this, actually. At the bottom of the cover page. You've already got it?
No, I said I probably would love something like that.
Yeah, and at the bottom it says, like, marketing plan. So you've got Monday to Sunday. So you could write out, right, okay, so on Monday I'm going to post about, like, the workouts I'm doing. On Tuesday I'm going to post about the community. On Wednesday I'm going to post a bit about my life. On Thursday I'm going to post about my, and that, for me, I'm like, oh God, I've been needing this for 2 years. So I think if you're a new coach and you can have the ability to get that, get it. Because she's actually got whole sections that I've not even completed out, where she's put things like my dream team list, and you can write down the names of the people that would be like your dream team, and they might be your friends, or like, who am I gonna, like, aim to get into my team this month or onto my challenge. It is amazing. So I'm pretty blown away. Make the vitals a priority, as I said, like workout, personal development, invites, and recognizing your team, or even just sharing, like, if you're doing a workout with like part of the team, like sharing a boomerang. If you're doing that, you're sharing the community, you're sharing that you're real, right? They're seeing the proof. And I would say this, having a specific workspace is so unbelievably critical, because, to start with, as with anyone, I think, starting a home business like this, you're probably just like sitting wherever, and you're on your phone, you're in your kitchen, you're on your phone, you've got your pen and paper, and it's going all over the place, and it's all a bit of a scatterbrain mess. And that's then how you feel, and you feel stressed out and you get burnt out. The moment that I said to myself, right, okay, if I want this to be a 6 or a 7-figure business, which, as time passed, that's what I wanted it to be, I've got to treat it like one. Am I treating it like one, or am I just sitting at the end of the dining table and I'm like just completely like a complete mess, or I'm like sitting on the sofa? So I personally, like, we have like I don't even know where this desk is from. It's super cheap. I didn't spend a great deal of money doing it, but I was like, I'm going to make this my own. And I got a few motivational quotes, and I got some nice pens and some nice notepads and a pin board. And I literally was like, I'm going to do this. And it completely shifted the way that I treated my business, and it completely shifted my results. So I'm not saying do that, because that wasn't me on day one. But what I'm saying is, make sure you have a dedicated workspace, and that when you are doing income producing activities, so like inviting or following up with people you've invited, make sure that you have a space, a dedicated space that is your, like, maybe it's your Beachbody space that is like, okay, this is where I'm going to go to work, and this is, you know, make it inviting. Like even here, like, let me just share. That's on my desk. It says, I own a Maryland house. We went to Maryland last year, and like we love it there, a house on the lake. So, you know, things like that, you know, that wasn't expensive. That was like £10, like maybe 15, 18 Canadian dollars. I ordered it online, and I love it. So just those cheap little things can really make a huge difference. So share your journey on social media. You are a coach, but that's not all you are. So share other aspects of your life. And I know I was saying this in my little new coach pod, like, make sure that you share the workouts, but make sure that you let them in. And I think letting them in to like the other sides of your life to start with can be really hard. And we kind of hold back. And again, this is an ever evolving and changing and growing journey. When I started, I was not comfortable with that at all. The thing that I did was just post my workouts like, hey, I'm Izzy, I like fitness. Hey, I'm Izzy, I like fitness, kind of thing. Because I was most comfortable with that, which is going to be quite normal if you're not used to sharing your life. But the more that I started to let people in, the more that I started to share like my family, and actually even like losing my mum, and people connect with me. People know who I am. They trust me. They know I'm being vulnerable. They know I've let them in. And the more that we can start to do that, the more that we start to build genuine connection, and the more that we start to find our people. And until we start doing that, we won't be so connected with the people that we attract. And I'll tell you that because that's been my journey. I'm going to mention a book here actually, because I'm listening to it at the moment, and it's very relevant to what I've just said. It is called The Power of Vulnerability, and it is written by Brené Brown, and she is a PhD in, I don't know, psychology, but she led one of the TED Talks a couple of years ago in California, and she absolutely blows my mind. It's basically a series of seminars in an audiobook. I think you can only get it in an audiobook because it's a series of seminars. And what she tells you about vulnerability, like, literally blows your mind. Like, basically, none of us are vulnerable because we're too frightened because of past experiences. And actually, it makes us weak, not strong. So anyway, that book's amazing. I would definitely recommend it, particularly with like social media and stuff. And think of social media as your storefront. So hold on, chat. Yes, I think you're right. There is a Netflix show with her. Like, she's so hilarious as well. She's so funny. Like, I'll be like, what are you laughing at? And in the morning, I'm listening to my personal development, and I'm like roaring with laughter. He's like, what the hell are you doing? So think of your social media as your storefront, and it's where people go to make sure you're legitimate. And like, when I started to do that to myself as a new coach, and I started to really comment, it made me feel a bit stressed. I was like, oh my God, oh, my social media is not up to it. Like, and yeah, like it's difficult to call yourself out, but I honestly will tell you, if you start to have that approach and attitude to your social media, like, would I want to join me? Would I want to be part of this? You know, even get another coach to go and do a little bit of an audit. And like, if you're brand new and you've got brand new social media, clearly that's not going to be something you're going to do right now, but just be aware of that as you build up your social media. Like, people are going to want to connect with you. And as I said, would you want to join you? So I think this is going to go on a little bit longer than 40 minutes, sorry. So your goal as a new coach is, and this is something that is just tried and tested, Beachbody know and have tracked a lot of coaches coming into the business. And those who tend to do the best long term are those that hit Success Club in the first 6 months. So 3 times in their first 6 months, they hit Success Club. Amy, for you, it's a bit less relevant because you were just a discount coach, but I would say like your start date is now. So set it from now. Yeah. So helping 3 people get started with a program and Shakeology is called a challenge pack. I think hopefully most of you guys know that. That's what you enrolled with as a coach. Whether you enroll as a coach or a customer, it is exactly the same price. And obviously as a coach, you're getting your coach business and you're getting the coach business fee included. So that's your goal in your first month. And there shouldn't be a reason why you can't do this, guys. It does rely on heavily you talking to friends and family, as I was talking to Emma earlier on. People that are going to enroll with you in the first 3 months, in my opinion, are all going to be warm market, because people who don't know you, if you've not been on social media and you've not been doing this for long, it's going to take them time to trust you. Okay. So writing a list of your friends and family who think might just want to get fit with you. Hey, do you want to just do this with me? That is the easiest way to invite them, because it's almost like they're actually coming with you at the start of your journey, which makes it not scary for them because they're just doing what you're doing. Right. And I think that's why if you kind of position yourself correctly with the way that you have those conversations with friends and family, it should be quite easy. And particularly if you're loving it, as I said, like if you're not loving the program, you're not getting results, you're not going to want to share it. And set a boot camp start date. Like this is something that I did from like probably the first week. I set myself a boot camp start date, and I said to myself, I'm going to get 3 people in there, and it's going to start on this date. And that the coaches that do that, as compared to the coaches that don't do that and they rely on their upline, the ones that set up their own boot camp are always the ones that hit Success Club, because you're owning that boot camp, you're producing the like check-ins, you're running it, you're leading the show. It's your responsibility, right? It's like if someone else was doing a job for you, would you know, or you were like that you had a boss who was, are you going to be as responsible as if you're the boss? Does that make sense? If you lead your team, if you lead your challenge thing, you're going to be way more excited about it than if you're just putting them into someone else's group. You're like, it's not my responsibility. It's that psychological thing. And so there's 2 sides to the business. There's inviting people to get fit with you, which is starting your challenge group, which as a new coach, I strongly suggest that's where you start, or inviting them to work with you as a coach, which you can absolutely do if you're confident with it and you have already seen the value and you're comfortable with it. What I will say is, like, if you're going to invite people into the coaching, the only thing that you need to do as a new coach is plug them into my sneak peek. Just plug them into mine. I didn't do my own sneak peek into coaching personally for about 4 months. I wasn't confident. I wasn't up for it. If I had anyone interested in the business opportunity, I just plugged them into my uplines page. So, and either of those will get you to Success Club. So 3 of whichever. So like you could do 2 coaches and a customer, or 3 coaches, or 2 customers and 1 coach. 3 of those will have you hit Success Club, which is Success Club 5. And as I said, like use the invite scripts in the file section in the team page to invite. Okay, moving on. So be resourceful. As a new coach, we can ask our upline loads of questions, and I think it's really important that you feel as though you can ask your upline those questions. Certainly in the first couple of weeks, it can be quite overwhelming. And I think that's perfectly normal because you're starting something new and you're doing something public, and that's a challenge. But I would just say, if you've got specific questions to do with, I don't know, like, how do I do this, to do with the functionality of the business, go into the coach office, have a look around, find the FAQ. There's a whole section where you can literally type in your question in the coach office, and for the most part, it will throw out the answer. And often if people ask me that question, I will go straight to coach FAQ and pull out the answer. So just remember, this is your own business, and the more resourceful you are from the get-go, and the more that you kind of lead for yourself as far as you can, the more successful you'll be, and the more confident you'll be that actually, hey, do you know what, I can do this. And if like you look at this stuff and you can't find the answer, by all means definitely ask. But I would always say, like, try and be that person for yourself, because it's going to give you that confidence. And YouTube and Google is incredible for trainings. Like even if you watch like a national wake up call and you're like, oh, that coach, she was really good, so I'm just going to Google her for some training. If you Google these coaches, like Ashley Molstad is one, she's the network's #1. I will often be like, I remember when I was a new coach, I was like, oh, am I having a bit of a struggle overcoming people's objections with like why they can't join me? So I would Google an overcoming objections YouTube video, Ashley Molstad, because she's the top coach. And lo and behold, I'd find an amazing training for the thing that I needed training on. And of course, as you're growing and building, naturally, some of us are going to have skills in one place and not in another, and vice versa. And so you kind of need to recognize where that is and try and plug the hole, right? Take that responsibility. So the national wake up call you've heard me speaking about a little while ago, that's every single Monday. It's at 8 a.m. Pacific. It's at, what is that? It's at 11 Eastern, and it is at 4 p.m. UK. And it is always recorded. So it's on Coach 411. There is also a coach office, not a coach office, there's a national wake up call, the Team Beachbody National Wake Up Call app, and their podcasts. You can listen to them once they're recorded if you can't watch live. Yeah. And then on a Sunday for this team, every single Sunday at 10 o'clock Pacific, at 1 p.m. Eastern, and at 6 p.m. UK, we always have a team call. And it is always I always try to ensure that it's relevant whether or not you're new, more seasoned, really experienced. And it's just ongoing training. And it's a real opportunity for us to all come together to, you know, get to know one another. And I will say, like, there was a coach on the National Wake Up Call a few weeks ago that said, get into the middle of the bed. Like, don't fall off the edge. If you're in the middle of the bed, you aren't going to fall out. And I love that because it's so true about our business. If you are on the edge of the bed and you're kind of not really engaging, you will fall off the edge. If you get in the middle and you stay in the middle, you better bet you're going to stay there. Yeah. So like lean into the community. I know, like, when I really sadly lost my mum, like almost 2 years ago now, and I was quite a new coach, I lent into this stuff, and my goodness, did it help me. I lent into everything. And you know what? There were times where I just wanted to lean out, but I found that way too scary, and I just lent in and it really helped me. So lean in and try and make those. And I know, like, for everybody, a Sunday isn't ideal, but it's really chosen at a time that all of us, UK, US, Canada, can get on a call together. And it's always recorded if you can't make it. So what would you do with an extra, it should say $700. That's about £600 UK and probably about $800 Canadian. $700 or £600 in the 3 months. It shouldn't say a month, in 3 months. So in month one, if this is just an example of how, if you hit Success Club 3 months in a row, how your income could really start to build. So if in month one you helped 3 customers or coaches, you would get $150. That'd be about £140 UK, probably about $160 Canadian, maybe a little bit more. And then you did the same the following month, you would get the same in commission. And then you would get the Shakeology commission as well if they continued to have the Shakeology. And you would have 150 plus 246. Okay, which is probably, I don't want to do all the like conversions, but I'm sure you guys can, because we've got Canadian and English, and this is in dollars. So month 3, if you helped another 3, you get another 3 lots of $50, probably £40 or probably $60 Canadian. And that would give you $150, 140 quid, about, I'd say 170, 180 Canadian. I don't know where the exchange rate is right now. And you got the Shakeology commission from the previous 2 lots of 3, you would get 192. So add that all together, you'd get 342 in that month, which would total 738. So that's, as I say, it's about £600 UK and probably 800 or 850 Canadian in the 3 months. So you can really start to see, like, that's just helping 3 people each month. And if you're running challenge groups where you're keeping people engaged, you're getting them the results, they're believing in the products, they are absolutely going to continue on this trajectory. So that's why you want to run like an amazing, engaging challenge group for them. And that's it. And I say that's it. I know that was a lot. So I wanted to like come back to the main screen. Has anyone got any questions? And please, like, do ask away if you've got questions. And if you found that overwhelming, please know that that's like everything to like do really well in your business. I've shared basically everything. So it's something that is kind of one resource that you can come back to. So definitely revisit it. Are there any questions, or have I stunned everyone into silence?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you plan like each day what you're going to post with regards to, say, sharing more about your life, like you said, or do you do it sort of organically depending on, you know, what you do? If that makes sense.
It's such a good question. It is such a good question. And I'll be honest, I always plan on the day. You will find a lot of coaches don't do that though. Like someone like Donna, who's doing really well on my team, her background is marketing. She likes to have a marketing plan for the week. She likes to know what she's going to post about. I don't like that because it makes me personally feel really restricted. And I'm really creative. I like to write and I like to connect with how I'm feeling on the day. But there's a caveat. If I've posted about one kind of feeling and, you know, on the Monday, you better bet that I'm not going to post about it on the Tuesday. So I'll look at my grid and like, you know, I'm doing this full time now, so I have the ability to do this. And that's the thing. If you are working this part time, you may well want to on a Sunday say, okay, on Monday I'm going to talk about my fitness, or post like fitness related post. On Tuesday I'm going to talk about I love going for country walks, you know, on Wednesday I'm going to talk about my mindset. You know, you might want to do that, and that might really be helpful. I've never had to do that because my business started when I'd left my full-time job and I had the ability to give myself that creative time. And I think whether or not you post on the day and you just ad hoc think about it, or you've got a marketing plan that you plan on a Sunday, you do want to allow yourself that creative thinking time, because without that you can't really express yourself, in my opinion, properly. So what I'll do is I'll go to my grid and I'll look at it and I'll go, okay, yesterday I posted about feeling really happy, talking about my team. So tomorrow I'm not going to talk about my team and my mindset because I've already posted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and a post a day on your grid, as well as obviously your stories. Is that what you tend to sort of stick to, like a grid post and then obviously your stories showing whatever you're doing in the day?
Yeah, my stories are always just completely natural, completely organic. The post that I post may have something to do with my stories, but it may well not have anything to do with my stories.
Yeah.
That what I will share, and this is something for like further down the track for you guys, like for the most part, unless you're inviting to coaching, you're going to be inviting to a challenge group. So in your stories, you might want to be letting them into your life a bit, but that's what you're going to talk about. Like, hey, you know, like maybe sharing a bit about, if you haven't got your own challenge group yet, sharing a bit of mine. Like you can screen record. So there's a way to screen record on your phone. If you go to the settings where the torch is, you can add screen record. You can record and scroll through a boot camp, and you can share that in your story and be like, oh, we're having so much fun in here, or something. But I am very strategic. If I'm doing a coaching call to action, I'm sharing more of my coach life in my posts that week. If I'm inviting into my boot camp, I'm sharing more about my fitness journey and my results and my people's results. So I am strategic with that, but I think it would make me feel really stressed personally if I had like this rigid plan, and it would just take all the enjoyment out of it. Yeah. So, but that doesn't mean it's how it's going to work for you.
No. Okay.
Sorry, that's not a straightforward answer. I think what you'll find is some people do things one way and some people do it another. But that's where this marketing plan and Moira Casaba's thing has been really useful, because I can write, okay, well, I posted about being a mum and a coach on Monday. I posted transformation Tuesday, and then I spoke about coach life and the community on Wednesday. And so then it helps me actually, if I am being more fluid and natural, oh, okay, well, that's what I posted about. So,
and sort of have a rough idea of what's going
on.
Bam.
And I think for me, it's easier right now because I'm 2 years down the track. So I kind of have a natural feeling for what I need to then post.
Yeah.
But I never put that pressure on myself as a newer coach. Honestly, I just posted.
The best thing. I have another question, as long as
yeah.
You mentioned about the sneak peek to coaching and just like adding people in there just so they can get an idea if they're not sort of committing to it. How do we do that? Is it
I'll just invite you into my sneak peek.
Okay, and then can we invite people in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my one talks about when the mentorship's starting, but I think it's just important to let them know that was mine, and that you're inviting them, and let them know when you're going to start yours. Yeah. But obviously the information is all the same. I think are you in there already?
Yeah, no, I think I am in there. I just go inviting people in there, or I wasn't quite sure. There's just a button, isn't there, to add people into it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, invite. Cool. Thank you. Sorry.
Are there any other questions?
No.
I've stunned everyone into silence. But just know, I was saying this to Emma before the call, this is a journey, okay? And this is a journey for you to enjoy and embrace, okay? So don't put loads of pressure on yourself that, oh my goodness, I have to do this, and I've got to do that, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that. Just enjoy the process. Those of you guys who are brand new, enjoy just getting to know this stuff. Like nothing has to be perfect. You don't have to do all of this stuff tomorrow every single day, because it's not going to work like that, and it's definitely not going to be enjoyable but ideally, once you've done this for a while, yes, that is going to be what you do. But just know that this was not something that I did like even a month into coaching. Yeah. So if you want to like really like excel and help loads of people, you will do this. But I'm not saying that you have to do it tomorrow. This is just like, I suppose, like the perfect guide to executing your business.
Thanks for all the information.
It's my pleasure. Like I always think I would rather everybody had all of the information, so that if we've got somebody who like is like ready to go, that I've given them the information, instead of, oh, well, I didn't know how to do that, Izzy, why didn't you tell me already? Like, at least you've then, I know once you've watched this, you've got all that info, right? So you can just come back to it. And I think it's, as I said, it's just a useful resource for you. Yeah. Well, it's been lovely to see you guys and to talk to you about it.
Like, thanks again.
It's my pleasure. And honestly, if you've been too like shy or like worried that people are going to think like whatever about your question, do just message me, or maybe you think about something afterwards. Just ask me if there's something that's unclear, and I'll post the recording. It won't be tonight now, it'll be tomorrow, but I'll post it in the team page. Well, nice to see you.
Too.
Thanks guys, take care. Bye. Bye.